Jon Jones is not just ruining his own legacy, but he's actually hurting the UFC at this point. I said recently, if you're not going to fight Tom Aspinall, just retire, mate, because he's been holding up the heavyweight division for the longest time, not just with inactivity, but also ridiculous, wasteful, pointless fights like that Stipe Miocic fight. And the UFC desperately needs stars right now when we've got one in Tom Aspinall, but we're not doing anything with him. He's not being allowed to fly the way he should do because this guy's ego won't allow it. You say he doesn't want to retire, even though he's got an interim champion that he should be dealing with if he wants to remain champion. He's like, Lord, just strip me. I'll still fight anyway. He clearly wants to carry on fighting, in my opinion. He just doesn't want to fight the most dangerous, threatening man for him in the UFC. And the way he's going about avoiding that fight and the way he's speaking right now, it's so disrespectful, not only to the UFC, but to every single fan he's got left. Because he's making them all look like idiots, by the way, with them having to support a guy who's literally behaving like a coward as a heavyweight world champion. And it's just so detrimental to the UFC. You look at boxing right now. Boxing's never been stronger, up and down the divisions, but the heavyweight division is flying, and it's because it's being led by a great champion in Alexander Usyk, who is taking on all comers. And by the way, it's not enough to just beat his best contenders once. He beats them twice just to make damn sure that there's not a thing anyone can say about it. That's a real champion. Jon Jones isn't fit to even be spoken about in the same fucking sentence as Alexander Usyk. Not the level of fighter he is, not the level of man he is, right? He doesn't even fucking belong in that fucking category. The way he's carrying himself now as a champion, it is without doubt the most embarrassing way I've ever seen a champion conduct themselves in a title reign. And I interviewed Tom Aspinall in 2023 about this.
Jon Jones has had one fight at heavyweight against Cyril Gane, who, let's be honest, didn't want to be there. One fight in 3 years, so he's had one fight at heavyweight. Stipe has had one fight in 4 years and he got knocked out.
How can that possibly represent the best fighting the best?
Couldn't agree more, mate, honestly.
It blows my mind.
Yeah. That was over a year and a half ago. And look, the clues were always there that Jon Jones was never, not even if you put a fucking gun to his head, going to take that fight. Just look at the language Jones has been using from day one about Tom Aspinall. Why would I gamble my legacy on someone like him? Jon Jones, gamble. You win every fight, don't you? You're guaranteed to win every fight. You can beat anyone. Every fight, if you're the best fighting the best, is a bit of a gamble. But you're the heavyweight champion of the world. You're supposed to go on and do that. I've never ever known a champion who tells everyone how great they are and yet doesn't want to fight the best challenger. I tell a lie. Actually, I do remember one time, Tyson Fury, when he did not want to fight Alexander Usyk. Oh, he's not a big enough name. Oh, and he made all the excuses in the world. And guess what? Usyk beat him twice. And this is exactly why Jon Jones doesn't want to take that fight, because he can see what the fuck is on the way. Jones spent the majority of his career as a heavyweight, boiling down to light heavyweight, beating guys who are actually middleweights, aside from one or two. And by the way, he scraped through those ones. When people were equal to him in size, that was where he actually struggled. Dominic fucking Reyes beat him, in my opinion, for Christ's sakes. And who the fuck is he? No offense. He's certainly not Tom Aspinall. In Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones, with his high fighting IQ, which I won't take away from him, he is a very smart fighter, and that's what the problem is here, is he's not able to delude himself into thinking, oh, I'll just beat him, right? He sees everything. And that's part of the reason why Jones has managed to win so many fights, is he sees everything and he analyzes and he comes up with good game plans. He's a smart fighter, but he can't do this with Tom Aspinall. He looks at him and goes, right, okay, he's faster. Fuck me, he's way faster. And he's bigger. That's not normal. And he hits way harder than anyone I've ever fought in my entire fucking life. And he's banging out heavyweights in the first round. Big, massive heavyweights. I've been fighting smaller guys the majority of my career, and he's out there blasting out heavyweights. Fuck. If I go in there, there's every chance I'm getting dropped in the first round and put away. And that's my lasting legacy. I don't want to do that. I know what I'll do. I'll ask for a ridiculous amount of money. They'll not give me it, price myself out, the classic way that fighters do this, and I never have to fight them. The problem is, Dana White said yes. Fucking hell.
Jon Jones was offered the deal and accepted the deal.
Bang. Confirmation. Jon Jones was offered the deal and accepted the deal. Rewind. Jon Jones was offered the deal. I said it. He finally accepted. Now, that's the most significant thing that Dana White has said regarding this in a very long time. The problem is he didn't tell you the whole story. He didn't tell you about and then he went back on his word. He didn't tell you about that part. Eventually that part will come out. But he didn't tell you about that part right then and there.
Shout out to Ariel Helwani giving us the full story there. Jon Jones is on the phone going, what? You're actually going to give us it? Yeah. Oh, great. He couldn't say, I'm backing out anyway, there and then on the phone. He had to let them believe for a little while because of his man pride that I'm actually going to take this fight. So he went around telling people, yeah, I'll take the fight or whatever, you know. Dana White guaranteed it. I guarantee I'll make this fight. Because he thought, I've got it in the bag. Jones has already said yes. And then he sat down and watched a little bit more footage on Tom Aspinall. Thought, can I get a game plan? Nah, I'm getting fucked off this guy. I'm out. It's not for me. It's a no from me.
You guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places.
Come on, he knew.
But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
Just think about this, right? Jon Jones has been moaning and complaining about not getting the same pay as the likes of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder for years. And he finally names his price. And Dana White goes, yeah, okay then. And this man is without doubt willing to walk away from his biggest payday of his entire career, what he described as fuck you money, where he can go in. If he loses, it doesn't matter because he's going to get so paid. He won't have to worry about anything ever again. And yet he's still saying no. That is how afraid he is of getting the shit beaten out of him by Tom Aspinall. And that says everything about the psyche of Jon Jones, in my opinion. A lot of the UFC fans now, they weren't around when we were watching Jon Jones begin his career in MMA, when they seen the rising of what we thought was the Michael Jordan of MMA. And what a rise it was, don't get me wrong. It was entertaining, it was impressive, and it was amazing to watch such a young guy do the things he was doing. But honestly, it's been a real disappointment in the long run, especially now. And these fans who are around now, who are only knowing Jon Jones as the guy who's the UFC heavyweight champion, but he doesn't want to fight the best challenger that there is. Like, that's the lasting impression. The final thing that you leave behind, your final moments as a champion, are what really defines a lot of your legacy. And he is going to go down as the biggest duck of all time, the way he's behaving right now. And that's what he'll be remembered as, more than anything. Yeah, he had a good run, he beat a lot of fucking middleweights, but when the big man came to knock on his door, he was too scared to open the fucking door. That's the truth. And that's what he'll be remembered for. And for the rest of his life, make no mistake about it, everywhere he goes, Tom Aspinall's name will fucking haunt him, because it'll be the one he refused to fight. And Tom Aspinall now can go along his merry way and everyone will know you beat him. You were willing to show up. He wasn't. Playground rules. You won. You're the man who was so dangerous. The big bad Jon Jones wouldn't even get in the fucking cage with you. He literally said it on my podcast. I will retire Jon Jones without even having to fight him because he hasn't got the fucking balls for it. And he didn't. It's all been proven true. And it's funny because to me, fighters who win all the time, all right, that's great, right? But actually, how much have you challenged yourself within your career is just as important as how many wins you got for me. Fighters who take risks, who fight fights that they're not expected to win. And even if they lose, but they go out in the shield or they show determination and heart and all of that. And that for me is far more impressive than what Jon Jones is doing, fighting a whole bunch of fights where everything's stacked in his favor. And then what the one fight that isn't, he's fucking running for the hills. And I remember Teddy Atlas making this point about Mike Tyson once upon a time. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and maybe it was a little bit harsh, but Teddy Atlas, for those who don't know, an amazing coach in boxing, so many world champions. And he said Mike Tyson might be like 50 odd and 5, but he's really 0 and 5 because the times where he was outmatched, he bottled it. Now, maybe that was a bit harsh about Mike, but the bottom line is that's exactly what it is about Jon Jones. Yeah, there's a few I give him credit for. The Daniel Cormier wins, for example, even though he fucking tested for steroids in those fights, but okay, even they're tainted. But it's only a real fight when you're facing the massive resistance. I look at the Eubank Conor Benn fight recently. The way Conor Benn fought against a bigger man, yes, he lost, but the credit he came out with for it was mega. Jon Jones has never done that in a fight. He's never been in a situation where we've been like, oh, can he fucking win? Never. This was it. And he's bottled it. And you know the best bit about it is the mental gymnastics he's having to go through to make him okay with bottling a fight. Because obviously, like, his ego is gigantic, right? I think he's practically a psychopath, if I'm honest with you, because I don't think he gives a fuck about any human being on this planet but himself. This is really hard for him because adulation is what feeds this ego. And right now, he's never been heavily criticized like this. Even with all the shit he did in the past and all the mistakes he's made, he's always been able to go, yeah, but I'm the baddest motherfucker. And now people are going, but you're not, though. You won't even go and say this guy. Shut up. And the tweets he's putting out, let's read a few of these tweets. Someone asks him, how would you defeat Tom? And the reply was, by not even giving him the chance. You're going to beat him by not fighting him? Meaning, that's the closest thing I can achieve to beating Tom. Running away and saying, you never beat me. That's the best thing he's got to beat Tom Aspinall. That's it. By the way, this man is in his 30s. He's behaving like an 8-year-old here. You're a professional fucking fighter. You call yourself the greatest of all time? Shut up. Imagine, he puts himself up there with the likes of Muhammad Ali and all these other great champions of the past. Imagine Muhammad Ali had that attitude. Do you think they'd call him the greatest of all time? What the fuck? And guess what? No one had that more than Muhammad Ali. No one had balls more than him. He was fighting to a ridiculous age, taking punishment, still beating motherfuckers up. He was a king compared to this man. Don't talk to me about greatest of all time. You're not even fit to be in the conversation with this sort of behavior. People are saying, shut the fuck up and fight. He's replying, this attitude right here is making me a very wealthy man. This desperation is incredibly lucrative. So thank you. Keep it coming. He's just refused his biggest payday of his life because he won't fight Tom Aspinall. And you're talking about wealth? Shut up, man.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
If you're looking to book a holiday away in the sunshine this summer, then this could save you a lot of money. Saily is a brand new eSim app. And what it does is it basically gives you a local SIM card that you can use when you're traveling, so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a text back home. And they've got eSIM plans in over 160 countries and 8 regions, so pretty much wherever you're going to be, they'll make sure you're connected. All you've got to do is click the link in the description, download the app, which works on iOS or Android, buy your plan, you can choose the amount of data and time that suits whatever you need best, and then install the eSIM on your phone. And when you land at your destination, you can activate your plan instantly. And the beauty about it is you only have to download this once, and whenever you go anywhere different, you can literally just buy a different plan for that destination, and boom, you're back watching me. And what I really liked about using this last time I went away to America is the eSIM was actually faster than the hotel Wi-Fi I had, and I got an unlimited plan that I could just scroll as much as I wanted, and I wasn't worrying about, am I using up too much data? So if you want to stay connected when you're away, just click the link in the description below, go to saily.com/paingame and use the code paingame, all block capitals, all one word, and you can get 15% off your first purchase. Big thanks to Saily for keeping us connected, but for now, enjoy the video. Someone says, haters will always get you paid the most. He replies, bro, it's crazy. I can't walk more than 2 feet here in Thailand without taking a picture. And guess what? Those people who took those pictures in Thailand would have walked away and went, who's that? And the other person goes, that's the guy who bottled it against Tom Aspinall. How does it feel to be retired? Someone says. He said, I don't know if I want to call it retired. I feel like I'll always have an ability to pop out and show him. This is what we're talking about, right? He doesn't want to retire. He wants to fight. He wants to continue making money. Of course he does. But he just doesn't want to fight the guy who puts the fear of God into this man. He doesn't want to fight him. And everyone's saying, oh, he's not afraid. He's not afraid. Bro, he's a professional fighter who's the world champion, and he won't fight the guy. Why else is he not fighting him? It's because he knows the minute he signs on the dotted line, he's signing that fucking legacy away the second he does. Because Tom Aspinall, with how slow and how shocking Jon Jones looked in that last fight against Stipe, would be slept within the first fucking round. And that's why he wants to still run around holding his belt, pretending that he's the champion. You ain't no fucking champion. He didn't even beat the champion to be the champion, because he took that guy as well. I just don't know how we've gone so long waiting for this guy, believing he was going to show up. It was obvious he was never going to fight him, and yet we're sitting there with one of the greatest talents ever to grace the UFC in Tom Aspinall, wasting his best years away when we could be having knockout after knockout after knockout, title defense, breaking records here, and he's just sitting on ice like Michael fucking Chandler. Not good, man. He's on about Tom Aspinall here. Unfortunately, my boy is not as special as his fan base thinks he is right now. I've seen Tom get tapped out twice by 2 different people. Time will show. Here today, gone tomorrow. Someone replied, he's only only been tapped out once, you dumb fuck. Once, twice, doesn't make a difference. My point is the kid's not special, and he has no top lip, which I find annoying. You want to talk about not special? Let's look through who Jon Jones has fought previously when we talk about not special. I'm literally looking up and down this record here, and like, don't get me wrong, Shogun, was a good fighter. Was he special though? Like, was he like Tom Aspinall, top tier? In Pride, he had a good run in the UFC. By the time he fought Jon Jones, he was shot. Let's be honest here, he was shot. Rampage, similarly, best years were behind him at that point, but was a good fighter, no doubt about it. Was he special? Was he one of the greatest talents we've ever seen? He wasn't, right? He was a good fighter. Machida, middleweight. Evans, middleweight. Belfort, middleweight. Chael Sonnen, middleweight. Gustafsson was fairly big and athletic. He wasn't special. He wasn't blasting people out in the first round like Tom Aspinall is. Glover Teixeira. Don't make me laugh. No offense, but like, come on now. Daniel Cormier was a special fighter, but Jon Jones had all of the physical advantages over him. Let's be honest here. That's the best on his record, and yet that's tainted because he popped for steroids fighting Daniel Cormier. Ovin St. Preux was average as fuck. He went to a decision with him just again because he was a big guy. Jones struggled against average big guys, let alone an amazing fighter like Tom Aspinall, who's even bigger than those guys, talking to me about special. Imagine talking to someone about being special when you went to a decision against Anthony fucking Smith. No disrespect, right? He's a great guy, but incredibly average fighter at that level. And again, he fought at middleweight once upon a time. And you went to a decision with this guy, and you're trying to do the mental gymnastics on how you'd survive against Tom Aspinall when you couldn't even finish Anthony fucking Smith. Diego Santos, middleweight, nearly fucked Jon Jones up as well in that fight. He struggled with him. Dominic Reyes, without a doubt, won that fucking fight, in my opinion. 3 rounds to 2. Again, big and fast. Not necessarily a great fighter. He's an alright fighter. He's certainly no Tom Aspinall, not even close. You struggle like fuck with him. And Cyril Gane. I wouldn't even mention Stipe because that old man didn't belong anywhere near a fucking cage. Cyril Gane can't stop a takedown for dear life. That was an easy route to victory for him, which is why he took the fight. He knew that because he'd seen Francis Ngannou, who ain't even a fucking wrestler, take him down at will. I'm just reading one of these tweets now. You're scared. Really sad to see from someone who should be the GOAT. Perfectly put. It really has nothing to do with fear. The question I ask my close friends and my family is really, how much higher can a person like me be climbing in this sport? Bro, you're the heavyweight champion of the world. You're supposed to defend the belt. Simple as that. And I love the fact that he thought, should I take the fight that I'm supposed to take contractually, or should I ask my friends and family for advice? The goal for athletes is to build a brand and then take that brand and become so much more than an athlete. We're really talking about building a brand here. The opportunity for that is being and gone. The amount of things this man has done wrong, that you're never going to be a brand. You literally crashed into a pregnant woman, man. You've literally been caught having your own kids ring the cops on you for beating your own missus up. What the fuck are you talking about, brand? That's your brand. And remember, you can't strip a guy like me at this point. I give the belt to freely, veni vidi vici. The fact that he thinks like my legacy is so massive that I don't even need a belt. That's how inflated his ego is, that he's like, I'll give it up. You can't take it away from me. It's all about control. I have to be in control of the narrative. That's what all of this is about. I had to laugh at this as well. He goes, I'm hearing Francis Ngannou is still interested. Now we're talking. That's a real super fight. He spent 3 years ducking and running from Francis Ngannou when he was in the UFC. The minute Francis closed the door behind him, he was like, all right, I'm ready to fight now. Cyril Gane available, please. Literally ducked the 2 best heavyweights we've seen since Cain Velasquez in Francis Ngannou and Tom Aspinall. And now you're trying to act like you'd fight Francis. Fuck off. I just hope that the vast majority of UFC fans see this cowardly behavior for exactly what it is and remember him exactly how we should, as the one who wouldn't take on the hardest challenges. And someone just made this really funny video of him. I've got to show you it.
Who gets hit by their husband? Who is addicted to coke? Who has used steroids more? Who fled from a hit and run involving a pregnant lady? Who had to call the police on their husband? How long until she gets beat again?
That is dark, right? That is well out of order. But the funny thing is, despite all of that, MMA fans, they gave him a pass. They still called him the GOAT because they really believed he was the baddest man on the planet and he would take on all comers. But this right here, this will do more damage to his legacy for MMA fans than any of that stuff would. Because it's like in tennis, for example. Remember Roger Federer, right? One of the greatest tennis players ever. Imagine he had turned down fighting Rafa Nadal, his greatest rival ever. Imagine he was like, I'm going to beat you by just not even playing you. That's how we're settling this. I don't need to beat him. I don't need to play him. It's fine. He's not on my level. He's just this new guy. I don't need to play him. It would be the biggest laughing stock in all of sport. And yet that's exactly what he's doing here. That is exactly it. And this ain't tennis, right? This is worse than tennis in terms of ducking someone. This is a tough guy sport, and you get your points based on how tough people think you are. And yes, everyone thinks he's skilled, but this ain't a tough guy act. This is a cowardly act. And there ain't no one on Jon Jones's record who compares to Tom Aspinall. There just isn't. And honestly, the UFC have to act now. We've got a whole fucking protest going on. We've got a whole bunch of signatures. 150,000 people have signed this petition to strip Jon Jones. The time is now. Let our true champion in Tom Aspinall defend the belt, continue his legacy, and reign as a world heavyweight champion should do, and lead this company forward, because the man to lead the company forward was always Tom Aspinall. He's a good, decent man. You will never, ever hear of him doing anything the likes of which Jon Jones has been accused of. And more than anything, he's a fucking great fighter. Jon Jones was always a piece of shit. Let's be real here. But we admired the skill set, and now he's not even putting that to good use. So get rid of him, because he's only ever held this company back. The amount of mistakes he's made, the way he's made the company look, was never good for business. And the reality is, even for all the fucking, good performances people say he's had, the majority of them are fucking a long, long time ago, and he's never been a major ticket seller. So what the fuck are the UFC wasting the time with him for? I don't know. Anyway, I hope this is the last time I have to talk about this, because I'm really done with this nonsense. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Unless you disagree with us, I don't want to hear that. But don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already, and stay subscribed to the Pain Game YouTube channel. I'll see you on the next one.